Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Saturday, February 27th, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you. Of course, we've been on the air now for almost a full month now with the Hockey Podcast Network doing this show, and I'm pretty sure we haven't had a card with 14 games on it yet. But we do today. It is a massive Saturday NHL slate. A lot of games, a lot of potential betting opportunities, and of course, we'll be diving into them. And let's get it going, Alex, because we have a bunch of matinee games, 3 of them, in fact, and 2 of them start at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll get it going there with the Washington Capitals taking on the New Jersey Devils. Washington minus 140 road favorites, total 6 shaded to the over in this one. The New Jersey Devils bounced back against the Buffalo Sabres the other night. We're trailing in that game, actually, 3-1, rallied for a 4-3 overtime win against Buffalo. I've been pretty impressed with New Jersey this year, just based on the improvement from last year to this year. Last year was a disaster. Coaching change, defensive problems, goaltending injuries, just a roster that underachieved because they had loaded up 2 seasons ago to get ready for a good year last year, and it didn't pan out. They hire Lindy Ruff, and I like what I see. I like Ty Smith on this blue line is someone you better start paying attention to. He's been a point-producing machine. He's a good skater. You know, Damon Severson's played pretty solid on the back end for them. PK Subban, who vowed in the offseason to be better this year, has lived up to that. Jack Hughes, we were waiting for him to look like that number 1 overall pick. He's taken a huge step forward this season so far. Him, Kyle Palmieri, Pavel Zacha, Miles Wood, combining for 31 points for this Devils team this year. Pretty good stuff. Mackenzie Blackwood has been solid in net. Washington, up and down, they've been for the most part. They're coming off, though, a nice win, one of their better games in a while against the Pittsburgh Penguins. There was some concern about Alex Ovechkin, injured at practice yesterday, but he has been cleared. Looks like he's going to be good to go and in the lineup here for Washington. I kind of think New Jersey could be a live home dog here. They've played better at home, and I don't want to make too much of day games and your record in afternoon games, but it is something to pay attention to. Washington is only 2-4 in day games. New Jersey's 4-1 in day games this year. So they've got a little bit of a better record. New Jersey's going to probably feel, hey, we could have beaten this team last week because they had a 2-0 lead in Washington. The Capitals got into penalty trouble, New Jersey, and Washington ended up scoring a bunch on the power play and winning that game against the Devils last Sunday. Now in New Jersey, I think the Devils could take care of business here. Washington's had a tough time stringing consistency together recent games. Their defensive play, believe it or not, has been worse than New Jersey. You know, their expected goals for percentage is worse than New Jersey. They're giving up more high danger chances than New Jersey so far this season. Vanacek seems to be struggling a little bit more the more he started in net. Put it all together. I'm on New Jersey here. I took a shot here with this home underdog. I think it's a pretty decent price, and I think you've got a chance to see this New Jersey team get the victory here, and you can get them at around plus 120 right now. Alex, what's your thoughts here? Capitals, Devils.
Yeah, the only way I would be looking here would be New Jersey. And like you said, these are 2 teams that play a lot of day games, over the years. So that day record does make, come into play here with the spot. But like I said, Washington's just one of those teams where some nights they turn it on and they've got everything clicking, and then other nights they just completely fall apart and have some issues, be it defensively or offensively. They just can't seem to quite get things in line right now. And this is a New Jersey team. I'm not as high on them as a lot of other people are. A lot of people saying they could, still be kind of in that mix to grab that one of those last playoff spots if they can string things together. But they can, this is a pick and choose kind of team. This is one of those spots where it's a good price. You got a favorable goaltending matchup here, and you can go and back them, but you can't, see them stringing anything together long term. So it's going to be a pass for me, but I would lean with New Jersey.
All right, next up, we've got another matinee affair, Calgary and Ottawa. Calgary minus 150, road favorites, total 6 shaded to the under. Of course, the Calgary Flames continuing this long road trip. A lot of people calling it a make or break road trip for their season because obviously they've fallen in the rears of a lot of teams in the North Division, struggled. We'll see how they fare here in this game today against Ottawa, but it was not good for the Flames in the first meeting between these 2 teams, really taken apart by the Ottawa Senators on Thursday night. And Big Save Dave against Toronto reverted back to Big Siv Dave against Ottawa on Thursday night, including just ugly as it gets. Anytime you see it happen, a shot from the neutral zone, from the center ice area, going in past David Riddick, and that was all she wrote for David Riddick in that game. He gets pulled from that minute on and gives us that indelible image and video shot of him headbutting the door. I don't recommend anybody doing that. You're going to give yourself maybe some permanent brain damage. You probably have brain damage thinking that's something you should be doing anyway. But nevertheless, not a good decision by David Riddick to do that. But that's David Riddick. He'll slam sticks. He'll kick the freaking bench. He'll, slam his head into a door, whatever the case may be to vent frustration. That's been David Riddick. That's the personality he is. Now, the question is, who's in net for Calgary? Because you got David Riddick off that poor showing. Jacob Markstrom doesn't look like he's ready to return today for the Calgary Flames. He's still on IR. He doesn't look like he's going to be cleared for this game. So Calgary's got issues. Johnny Gaudreau's got to get going again. So does Sean Monahan. I mean, these guys started strong, and they basically kind of wilted here in recent games. So is the Flames offense. They're having a real hard time finding the back of that. Matthew Tkachuk's offense is dried up. He's more focused on being an agitator than, putting the puck in the net right now. That's the issue at this point in time. And if it's not Riddick and you feel you got to give him a rest, you're going to Artem Zagadulin in net for the Calgary Flames, who made the relief appearance the other night after Riddick got pulled. Bottom line is I'm not laying the price with Calgary. I cashed with Ottawa the other night. I think because Calgary got so embarrassed, I may not like Ottawa quite as much today, but I'm certainly like them enough to still bet them again, especially at this price and the way they're playing. The way they played against Montreal, it's a hardworking team. Tkachuk, Batherson, Brandstrom, Shabbat, all of these big Stutzla, all of the youngsters, the young guns and prospects on this Sens team, they're all playing well and making an impact every night. For me, I'm on Ottawa again. I'll be damned if Calgary wants to bounce back. To me, this is a price that they don't deserve right now on the road. What do you think here, Alex? Calgary, Ottawa.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those kind of weird games, especially these are two teams that don't play often in the daytime, especially Calgary. So that's something you want to kind of maybe, put into a scope, but you can't back Ottawa, even though, like I said, we've seen them string together some better play. It's just not a team that I feel comfortable backing on a daily basis, and especially with Matt Murray in net. Like I said, we don't know who's going to be going in net for Calgary just yet. That should be released within the next 15, 20 minutes. But this is one I'm just going to completely pass. I would lean with the first period over because Ottawa's been the best in the league as far as that goes. Like I said, but Calgary having such a flat performance, I can see them trying to at least come out with a burst of energy early. But like I said, the early start could hamper that a little bit. So this is a game I'm just going to completely stay away from.
All right, we got Columbus and Nashville. Nashville minus 125 home favorites, total 5.5 shaded to the under in this game. Columbus is just one of those teams that have had some issues trying to cash with them lately, and I'm back on them again today here against Nashville. To me, Nashville, I say this again, anytime Nashville's favored, even at home, and because remember, this was not a team that played any good hockey at home last year. Their home record was dismal here at Bridgestone Arena last year. For this Nashville team. I'm always interested in fading Nashville when they're laying a price, and that's the case here against Columbus. Maybe Columbus does need to get on the road. That might help them a little bit. They're starting a road trip. That's usually a spot I like. I know they've struggled against Chicago, had a tough loss the other night once again to the Blackhawks, but I think now let's be honest, Chicago's better than Nashville right now. So when you look at it, this is actually a step down in class, believe it or not, for the Columbus Blue Jackets here. I like that they're starting a road trip. There's focus. Boone Jenner, Foligno, a couple of the guys here on this. Cam Atkinson, who's become a very vocal leader on this team, all saying this is a huge road trip for our team. It's time to bear down and play better team hockey. I like the quotes, though. They're just not panicked. There's not throwing each other under the bus. There's not, woe is us. There's determination in the voices of these Columbus players, and I expect them to bring a good game to the ice here this afternoon. And if they do, you bring a good game to the ice against this Nashville team. Bad special teams, not enough offense, not enough consistency defensively, not enough quality goaltending consistently. You can beat them. So I'm on Columbus here at plus 110. Alex, what about you? Jackets, Preds.
Yeah, I was actually able to grab plus 120 overnight, but like that's still like at a plus 110. This is a Nashville team. So we just got to completely fade them or pass on it. And like you said this is pretty much a step up in class or a step down from, like I said, for Columbus going against a Nashville team that's just struggling in every aspect of the game right now. And I don't know what's going to take for them to turn things around. Like I said, I'm stunned that they even this opened as a favorite. And like I said, I know Columbus, they have some issues at times. They still aren't super consistent with scoring, obviously getting shut out by Malcolm Subban the other night, and after having a back and forth battle. So they've got to, figure some consistency out moving forward, but this could be one of those games to build upon. Like you said, coming off of a loss and getting a plus price and starting a road trip. So I like Columbus here. Ian, you're muted.
All right, Alex liking Columbus here as well, plus 110 in this one. And we welcome in our colleague Jimmy Murphy joining us here on the Saturday edition of the Ice Guys. Welcome in, Jimmy. What do you think here, Columbus, Nashville? You think the Jackets can bounce back?
I do, but I'm going to stay away from this game. I just don't have a good enough feel on it. But, yeah, I could see that happening. I just don't like touching many games that Nashville's involved with, so I'll pass on this.
All right. I missed one in the afternoon slate because it's down in the right-in section of the betting rotation. But this is an afternoon game. This is actually one of the 1 o'clock games, Philadelphia and Buffalo.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube, Alex donning the Flyer jersey today on the show. We got Philly minus 170, road favorites, total 5.5 in this game. The price has gotten just way out of range for Philly, but I agree with it. I think they win the game. I think they got some confidence back in their game, beating the Rangers after an ugly loss to Boston in the outdoor game, starting to get a little bit healthier. Starting, I should say. I mean, they don't have everybody back yet. They're still Konechny out, but Claude Giroux came back the last game. They've even got some more reinforcements today. Voracek, Lawton, Lindblom, all returning for the Flyers. I don't trust Buffalo. They've got all kinds of the Eichel trade rumors eating up again. Jeff Skinner being benched apparently has rubbed people in that organization, players and coach alike the wrong way. So there's some issues with Buffalo. They cough up the lead against New Jersey. And now they've got to go with Carter Hutton because Linus Ullmark is injured. So it's got to be the Carter Hutton show for the Sabres, and he's not been any good so far this season. Got to call it like we see it. He's had a rough year, Carter Hutton, without a doubt. I'm still going to recommend Philly on the show because I did lay the $1.40. I got $1.40. I'm not going to recommend minus 170 now. So I'm going to say Philly in regulation here. Get a better price on them, closer to even money. Flyers in regulation for me. Alex, what are you doing here with the Flyers and Sabres?
Yeah, I just grabbed Flyers even money in regulation as well. Like I said, this is a rough spot for a Buffalo team that's completely coming apart at the seams now. Like I said, Eichel being hurt, Skinner being benched. More than likely, you have to think that there's going to be a trade at some point with this Buffalo team. They might start dismantling things. I don't know if it's going to be a complete overhaul right away, but they're going to have to just even if you make one move to try to shake the locker room up, that would probably be in order at this point right now. But like I said, everybody's on the Flyers right now, and it makes good sense. So, like I said, I'll grab that regulation price at even money.
Yeah, it is much healthier. A lot of their guys are back. The only one out is Konechny still. Everybody else pretty much back here for this Philadelphia Flyers team. And Brian Elliott in net again. And look, they're winning with Elliott in net. He played well the other night. His numbers for the season are still pretty good. 4-1, 2.38 goals against, 922 save. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty good numbers there for Brian Elliott. Jimmy, what do you think here? Flyers, Sabres.
I think we're going to bring Jimmy Puckline out on this one, guys. The Sabres are just a mess right now. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with them, like you said, trade-wise. So give me the Flyers minus 1.5 here. I'm seeing it at a plus 155 right now.
Yeah, plus 155, even plus 160 in some spots. So a good, juicy price there with the Flyers to win by margin in that one. All right, the rest of the NHL card, rest of these games are night games. We'll start with Dallas and Tampa Bay. The Lightning minus 190, home favorites, total 5.5, shaded to the under. If you're the Dallas Stars, you don't know what hit you in that third period the other night against the Florida Panthers. That was a remarkable comeback from Florida. And you know what? That was actually the best game Dallas has played in a while in terms of offense and generating shots and chances. I mean, we had talked about on Thursday's show that their offense has disappeared, but they had 39 shots. They actually, for the first time, outplayed Florida in that game after Florida really had dominated the first two. But unfortunately, just, a couple good bounces for Florida, but the puck luck went their way in the third period a little bit. And what a rally, what a comeback by the Florida Panthers, down 2-0 in the third period. They come back to win 3-2. Really disheartening loss for Dallas, and now they got to go on the road, and now you got to face the defending Stanley Cup champions who appear to be on a roll again. Man, it's impressive to beat Carolina 3 games in a row, the way Tampa Bay did. So they're playing some really good hockey. Not a game I'm involved in. I mean, I would certainly make a case to go with maybe Tampa in regulation or puck line, but the value's not great. There's better games, better spots. It's a pass for me, but definitely wouldn't be interested in taking Dallas against this red-hot defending champion Lightning team right now. Alex, any thoughts from you, Stars Lightning?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we were supposed to see these teams play 4 different times already, and you've had obviously the COVID issue with Dallas, and then the power issue and different stuff. Usually we like to look at these Stanley Cup final rematches and see usually a good battle, especially if it's early in the year. But like I said, now the season's almost halfway through. Dallas isn't in a good form where Tampa Bay is, so in a regular spot I would be looking at Dallas, but with this one here I'm just gonna pass it. Like I said, maybe look for something in game. Things could spark up once these two teams kind of get reacquainted with one another, but I don't like anything as far as pregame goes.
Yeah, and by the way, we have goalie confirmations already for tonight. It is the number ones in net, Hudobin and Vasilevsky for these two teams. Jimmy, Dallas, Tampa.
Yeah, I don't have a real. I'm with Alex on this. I mean, I might look at it at live betting, but this is a game that right now I really wouldn't be able to figure out. Tampa clearly on the upswing right now, but then part of me wonders, okay, Dallas has been waiting for this chance to get back at them since the Stanley Cup final, and I don't care what players say, it does mean something. You do circle this game when you lose to somebody in the Stanley Cup final. I saw the Bruins do it with the St. Louis Blues a couple of years back. So, if I was going to do something, I actually might lean towards Dallas for that reason, but I'm going to pass on this.
Yeah, I mean, the Stanley Cup final revenge angle is definitely in play. Dallas is bringing it and it fired up tonight, but just in terrible form, just finding ways to lose right now. And Tampa really tightening up the screws defensively as well. They've played really good. To be able to shut down Carolina the way they have in the last few games, it's pretty impressive. The way Carolina were just scoring goals in bunches, and all of a sudden Tampa Bay just shuts them down. I think if you like Tampa, and I know there's some people that are in our YouTube chat as we're recording this show live, seem to like Tampa a little. Dallas team total under might be something you look at as a way, because again, this team's having a hard time finding the back of the net right now. And remember, this Dallas team is also still without Tyler Seguin, Rupe Hintz, and Alex Radulov, and that's definitely hurt them in terms of offensive production as well. Maybe the game of the night in the NHL, very possibly could be one of the games of the night for sure. Toronto Maple Leafs, Edmonton Oilers. It should be a dandy here. It's a big game in the standings. These are the top 2 teams in the North Division. Edmonton's red hot. Toronto's been as consistent as any team in the NHL from start to finish this season. It's been a great, should be a good one here. Toronto minus 115, road favorites, total 6.5. This is just one of those games that I'm just going to be watching and excited to watch as a fan. I wish I could give you something significant from a betting standpoint, but Toronto deserves to be a slight road favorite. They are. So to me, the price is where it should be. I'm willing to give Edmonton the benefit of the doubt here and say, as a slight home dog, I'm not in a rush to go against them. They're getting, balanced scoring. Their defensive play has improved significantly. And Mike Smith, aside from only one rough outing against Winnipeg, where they lost 6-5, he's been lights out, in every other game that he's played this season for the Edmonton Oilers. So give him credit. The Toronto Maple Leafs look like they're going to be healthier. They've had some injuries this week. The 2 games against Calgary, they were banged up a little bit, but looks like Jake Muzzin might be back. It looks like Joe Thornton might be back as well. Unfortunately, Austin Matthews may or may not play. A little bit of a wrist injury has popped up for him. And Sheldon Keefe was saying after he didn't practice yesterday, he's day-to-day and a game-time decision tonight for this game. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, very impactful situation, whether Austin Matthews plays or not. And they get Jack Campbell back. Freddie Anderson also still not quite ready to return, because remember, it was Michael Hutchinson who started the 2 games against Calgary. But Jack Campbell, the actual backup goalie for the Leafs, who's been out for weeks now, is returning and going to be in net here tonight for the Leafs. So Jack Campbell was excellent before he got injured. Now, it's always that concern, though. First game in a while. Are you rusty? He's been out for a few weeks, but prior to that, he was in really good form. So this is one of those games I could make an argument for Toronto. I could make an argument for Edmonton. I could make an argument for the over. I could make an argument for the under. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, though. Should be a good one. Pass for me, but it'll be a fun one to watch. More than anything, whatever happens here, I think will give me a stronger opinion on the next game between these two teams based on what happens tonight. That's the way I'm approaching it. See how this one goes. They play each other 2 more times after this, Monday and Wednesday. Probably be something better on the betting board for me with these two teams based off what happens tonight. Alex, what do you think here? This is a good one, Leafs Oilers.
Yeah, it is. I'll be watching it, and I'll be looking for something to jump in with in play. Like you said, both of these teams are doing well. I think this is more of a step up in class though for Edmonton. When you look at they beat Vancouver, they beat Calgary, 2 teams we've talked about ad nauseum struggling right now. Toronto, like I said, finally getting guys back, and they're still playing some decent hockey even with missing a few key pieces. And Austin Matthews, obviously a huge loss, but they've got other guys that can find the back of the net as well. So like I said, you just wonder if there's going to be rust on Jack Campbell, or also too, just the fact that Edmonton's won 5 in a row, and 8 of the last 10. If like I said, maybe they have another flat spot like they did in their last loss a while back. So it's going to be one to watch. And like I said, I'll be looking for something in game. That's kind of been the way I've been approaching a lot of Toronto games of late.
I definitely wouldn't blame you. By the way, we got a great comment in our chat from Morley. The fact they do the weekends is awesome. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, we're the lover boy of NHL hockey betting shows on YouTube. We're working for the weekend. That's exactly what we do. We don't take days off here. No days off with the Ice Guys. 7 days a week. We have this show. We cover every single game, every game on the NHL schedule, start to finish, regular season and playoffs. It's nobody else does it like this. Jimmy, what do you think here with Toronto and Edmonton?
What I think is I'm going to keep going under, and I got to ask you, Ian, when are you going to start believing in Mike Smith, buddy?
Well, you know what? To Alex's point, they played Calgary, Vancouver. I get it, some weaklings. When he played the one game against Winnipeg, a capable offensive team with firepower, he kind of struggled, but he was better in the second game. We'll see tonight. He will make me a believer if he goes out there and shuts the door on this Leaf team.
All right.
No, I'll give you credit. He's playing well.
We got him on record, Alex.
Right. Yeah.
I think he's a great story, to be honest. I mean, this is a guy that, let's face it, guys, he was cast off. So I'm really impressed with the way he's come back from his injury, and clearly been a huge factor in the Oilers' success here. I mean, the Oilers aren't sniffing first place without Mike Smith right now, so kudos to him. And yeah, I like the under here, just the way it's been going. Toronto obviously committed a little more as well to defensive hockey. And then, if you factor in the potential that Austin Matthews isn't in there, maybe that offense changes a bit. So give me the under 6.5 in this.
I wouldn't argue with that, the under, because you're right. Edmonton's tightened it up, and Toronto with the backup goalies this week, Hutchinson against Calgary, both of those games stayed under. And of course, now it's going to be Campbell, who's a very good backup goalie. He can go in there and play well. He's very capable. Yeah. He was playing well before he got injured, and they'll probably just really, try to help him out. It's the first game in a while. So be attention to detail defensively, I think will be a focal point and an emphasis point for the Leafs tonight. So I wouldn't argue with the under. And again, you're talking 6.5 here, and it's 6.5 because McDavid and Matthews and Draisaitl and Marner and all the Nylander, all the weapons on these teams and all the scoring potential is why you get a 6.5. But current form indicates these teams are playing good on D right now. So the under does make some sense in that regard. Carolina, Florida, next game, Carolina, -115 to -120, road favorites, total 6, shaded to the over. I'm biting the hand that feeds me here, and I don't love doing it because the hand that's fed me is Florida. I've been betting on this team a lot. I just hate this spot. And we saw it last night, guys, with Colorado, Arizona. Okay, Arizona had these 2 miracle comeback wins against Anaheim. What happened last night? Flat as a damn pancake. Dead as a doornail. Don't be fooled by the 3-2 final score. They got 2 late garbage goals. They were completely out of that game most of the way. And when you have the comeback that you had the other night, like Florida did against Dallas, sometimes you're just, it was such an enthralling, energetic, just unbelievable win. And then you just can't match that, intensity the next game out. Whereas I think Carolina comes into this game with extreme intensity. They've now lost 3 in a row. They coughed one up against Florida last Monday in Carolina. They were up 2-0, lost in overtime 4-3. Revenge spot, desperate Carolina team. Don't love the situation for Florida. Bobrovsky had his best game of the season, bar none. We were waiting for Bobrovsky to play well. He was amazing against Dallas. Amazing that I think that Coach Q is going to go back to him today. It isn't confirmed. Yeah, it is confirmed. Yes, Bobrovsky. That's kind of what I thought, back in net. But you know what? This guy is the master the last year of not being able to play 2 good games in a row. And that worries me. Maybe he can. Maybe he is going to turn it around. But I got to see it first that he can play 2 really sound, strong games in a row in net. I like the situation for Carolina. I like it enough to take them here, minus 120. Alex, what do you think here? Carolina, Florida.
I like this over. I was on that over before, and like you mentioned that Monday afternoon game where Carolina, then Florida went back and forth, especially late in the period, late in the contest rather, forced overtime. But like I said, can Bobrovsky string 2-3 good games together in a row? And Carolina's obviously going to be happy to just not be playing Tampa Bay for the first time, and how the last 3 games went. So that should give them some momentum as well. And like you said, that the flat spot off of a comeback, that is definitely a live angle, something to look at with these condensed matchups moving forward. So I would not be shocked to see a bunch of goals scored here. So you're getting the 6 instead of a 6.5. I'm going to roll with the over.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that lean over the total. Definitely, I was on that over to Carolina and Florida. I might even add that one. We'll see. I like Carolina as well, but that over does make sense. And again, it's kind of Bobrovsky's got to show me 2 good games in a row from him. We haven't seen that a lot, especially in his career here in Florida since he's been there. Jimmy, what do you think here? Canes Panthers.
I'm with you guys. I love the over in this, guys. And in fact, that might even end up being my best bet. I'll decide by the end of the show here, but I'm all over this over. I also like the over in the first period too, if you're in for doing some of that as well. I just think when these 2 teams get together, they're bound to score. And this might not even be Bobrovsky's fault. It's just the way a lot of these games go between these 2 teams. So I like the over in this.
Yeah, and James Reimer probably in net, not confirmed yet, but projected starting goalie for Kakalaki here is indeed James Reimer. So, and again, we've talked about Reimer. He's kind of, the more he starts, the more the book is out on him, and the more he's kind of struggling. So that's often what happens. But hit the like button. There's people watching on YouTube. Yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get the word out there as much as we can. We're doing this show free now, 7 days a week, YouTube. And again, if you can't watch the show live on YouTube, make sure you download the audio podcast version of the show on a daily basis. Pittsburgh, New York Islanders minus 110 to minus 115. Home favorites, total 5.5 here in this game. Pittsburgh Penguins losing 5-2 to Washington in their last game. The Islanders just taking apart, especially in the third period, the Boston Bruins in their last game and winning decisively by a score of 7-2 in this one. This is a game I'm not involved in because I don't want to go against Pittsburgh. I think there's still a bit of a bet on team even after finally losing against Washington. But the Islanders, I believe, have lost 2 in a row to Pittsburgh. And I think there's now some real onus on the Islanders that, hey, let's finally get off the schneid against this Penguins team. And look, they were damn impressive against Boston the other night. Not exactly a team I'm rushing to fade in this spot. So 2 teams I'd rather bet on in this spot than not. So pass for me on the Penguins and Islanders. Alex, anything for you on this one?
Yeah, Penguins have actually beat the Islanders 3 times in a row now. And, the one thing that I was riding for a while with these 2 teams was the first period over. We saw it cash in the first 3 meetings, and then it completely fell flat and was scoreless in the last 2. But that's the only way you can really look with the Islanders right now from a first period perspective. They're 13-6 to the over in the first period this season. So that's a lean, but it's not going to be official. Like I said, there's other spots on the board that I like.
All right, just a lean with the first period over for Alex. Jimmy, anything for you here with this one between the Islanders and Penguins? And now Jimmy's muted. See, once a show, we all do it.
Once a show. Hey, guys, after what I saw the other night with the Islanders and how they just, I guess everyone's running rushing over the Bruins, just destroying them right now. But still, the way they were scoring, the way their offense is going right now, I'm going to go with the Islanders on this. Give me straight up on the money line.
All right, minus 110 Islanders for Jimmy Murphy. Detroit, Chicago minus 160, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. Chicago definitely playing great hockey, finding ways to win. And now look at all of a sudden Malcolm Subban getting it going in net for the Blackhawks. And this is now, I would say 2, maybe even 3 starts in a row from him specifically, where he's played a lot better. And that's definitely reason for optimism if you're the Chicago Blackhawks. And so much, well, it is the first of a back-to-back. So, but I think partially also because he played so well the other night is why he's back in there tonight. 2.13 goals against, .930 save percentage. Those are solid numbers for a guy that we haven't necessarily trusted in years past to be that solid stopper in between the pipes. But he's had a few good starts in a row. We'll see where Detroit goes for their goaltending. Bernier has really been splitting the net lately with Greiss. Greiss is a good goalie, but he's just stuck on a bad team. And maybe he was a product of the Islanders system. You really have to start thinking of that. Was Greiss a good goalie all these years in the Island? Or was he product of a good Barry Trotz defensive system and a good blue line in front of him? Because here in Detroit, it's been a disaster for him. 1-13 record for Thomas Greiss this year. 3.16 goals against, .891 save percentage. He's the projected goalie. He hasn't been confirmed yet, but obviously if he's in net, I'm not going to want to put my money on him or this Detroit team. So, yeah, it would be Chicago for me, if anything, but I'm passing. Not much value unless you go Chicago in regulation, and I'm not rushing to do that necessarily either. Alex, what do you think, Detroit, Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said you can't back the Hawks in regulation. If you play them, you got to go with the money line because a lot of their games have been going to overtime. They went to OT once with Detroit as well, but they've won the 4 meetings against Detroit so far. And this is one of those. It's just weird where except even when you feel like the Hawks might have a flat spot, like I thought they might have in the last game, wrapping up that road trip. All of a sudden, Malcolm Subban stands on his head, gets 26 saves, and gets his first shutout with the Hawks. So, like I said, the team's just playing well right now. It's a good combination of good skill, good playing, but also some luck involved as well. So, not going to be fading the Hawks. Not going to be back in Detroit here in this spot either. The one thing I will be looking at here, I'll be looking at Patrick Kane to get a goal. If he scores tonight, he'll be at 400 goals. He'll be the 4th Blackhawk in history to reach that mark. And he's been on a hot streak right now. He got the game-winning goal in the last game. So, he's playing, MVP caliber hockey right now. So I like Patrick Kane to get his 400th goal tonight, and that's the only play I'm going to roll with in this game.
All right, Patrick Kane to get a goal, MVP level, 30 points in 20 games. He's a 30-20 guy this year for this Chicago Blackhawks team. Outstanding hockey, great leadership too, and he's had to really take on more of that. You've lost your Jonathan Taves. He hasn't played yet this year. There's that void in the dressing room as well that's missing. Not just his play on the ice, it's what he's doing in the dressing room with this team, leadership-wise, no Taves. And I think Kane has really stepped up in that area as well for Chicago this year. He's doing it all for this team. And what can you say? Great season so far for Patrick Kane. Jimmy, what do you think here, Detroit, Chicago?
Well, I think that's a great point by you guys that, he should be considered for MVP for the Hart Trophy right now. I mean, all we hear about is Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, and rightfully so. But at the same time, either of those teams, I think, are still competing without those guys in the lineup currently constituted. Chicago's a rebuilding club. They have no business sniffing the playoffs right now, and the only reason they're there is because of Patrick Kane. So I'd argue maybe he's more valuable than either Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews right now. People may call me nuts there, but I mean, think about it. Where's Chicago? They're borderline an AHL club without him right now. So that's a great call by you guys. On that note, though, I'm going to stay away from this game because I can't figure out Chicago and Detroit. Every time they play, I get it wrong. So I'm off this game.
All right. It's a pass for Jimmy with the Red Wings and Blackhawks. On we go now. We've got LA and Minnesota. Another rematch here. Last night they played the Wild, taking care of business, -180 home favorites tonight in the rematch. 5.5 the total, shaded to the under. A pretty damn good performance from Cam Talbot. Let's keep that in mind as well. I hadn't played in forever. Comes in there and just puts up a great performance against the LA Kings last night in that victory. Back to Capo Kakinen, though, here with this being a back-to-back. It was Jonathan Quick last night, and predictably, the winning streak ends for the LA Kings. I don't want to be too hard on Jonathan Quick, but, he's obviously not playing as well as Cal Peterson right now, and it's going to be Cal Peterson back in net tonight for the LA Kings. It's going to have me tempted to take LA with him in net. It really is, because I know Minnesota's on a roll. I probably don't want to go in front of them, but I'd be tempted by LA. I doubt I'd pull the trigger, though. I like what I'm seeing out of the Wild. I really do. I mean, this team's got some offense now. They're still got that tight, structured defensive game. The goaltending from Talbot and Kakinen's been certainly good enough. And maybe LA played over their heads for that little win streak. And now that they finally lost one, do they stumble a bit? We'll wait and see on that. Tonight will be a good indicator of that. So for me, lean LA, but just a lean. I won't be getting there. Alex, what do you think? Kings Wild.
Yeah, I almost played LA last night, and I am so glad I didn't, because Minnesota came out hot and ready and got 3 goals within a span of 3 minutes, and that's all they needed to get that win. Like you said, they're just getting everything, going their way right now. And like I said, they were playing good hockey. Then they had obviously the COVID issues, and they were off for about a week and a half. Kind of worried if they would, take a while to get things back in gear, and that hasn't been the case. They've picked up right where they left off. So, kudos to Dean Evison and that crew for getting things in order and making them a legitimate playoff contender right now. And we talk about some of the Calder Trophy finalists potentially. One guy we got to mention is Kaapo Kähkönen. He's 7-4 with a 2.37 goals against, a 917 save percentage. He's done very well. Other than Kevin Lankinen of the Hawks, I'd say he's probably the second best rookie goalie that we've seen so far this season. So him getting the start in that, I like this first period over here. I think LA is going to try to bounce back, obviously, and want to score early. They got to make sure not to give up 3 goals right away like they did last night. Like I said, with Cal Peterson, and that should help. But I think we're going to see, the same kind of back and forth battle that we've seen for most of these meetings between LA and Minnesota. It's actually been a pretty good, a fun series to watch so far this season between these two teams. So I like the first period over, only laying at $1.05.
All right, over 1.5 minus 105 first period. Kings Wild for Alex. Jimmy, any betting opinions here for you with LA, Minnesota?
Yeah, guys, you know what? I'm just thinking I'm going to go with my theory there. Sometimes when a team's on a win streak and they lose, they're going to go a couple games the other way. So I see that happening right now with LA. Give me the Wild puck line in this one.
All right, Wild puck line for Jimmy. That one you can get in terms of the puck line price. Pretty good one there, around plus 145 with Minnesota on the puck line in that one. Colorado, Arizona. Colorado minus 170. Road favorites, 5.5, shaded to the under the total in this game. Best bet winner for me on the show yesterday with the Avalanche in regulation. It got a little bit too close for comfort down the stretch with those late 2 goals, but nevertheless, Colorado 3-2 got the job done. I'm going to come right back with Colorado here, because now that they snapped the losing streak, I don't think there's a let up for them trying to get back and win a few in a row. Good teams do that. Good teams don't just say, you know what, we snapped the losing streak, we won a game, we're satisfied. No, the good teams keep it up and win and reel off a few in a row. I think Colorado can do that. Grubauer is going to be in net probably tonight. Jared Bednar rested him last night. He was coming off probably his worst game of the season against Minnesota. I think there's an onus for him to play a lot better tonight, and I think he will. And it'll be Antti Raanta, I would think, tonight for the Coyotes. Darcy Kemper is injured. It was Aiden Hill last night. It's looking like Antti Raanta projected to be the goalie. Kind of struggled in recent games. Antti Raanta had a couple good starts at the beginning of the season, but 3.63 goals against average for him overall for this season. So I won with Colorado in regulation last night, and I'm going to come right back with that same play tonight against Arizona. Colorado regulation. You can get that right now currently at around minus 120. Alex, anything for you here with the Avs and Coyotes?
Yeah, I like this first period under 1.5 goals and minus $1.15. That's been the mantra for Colorado right now. 2-8 the last 10 to the first period, going under. And like I said, now they've got their number one goalies. For right now, the number one goalies for Arizona being Antti Raanta and Grubauer, like I said, coming back after having a disastrous night a few nights ago against the Wild. So I think we're going to see both goalies play pretty well. And like I said, these are just two teams that don't really jump out and score a lot of goals early. Arizona, especially now, they've been more of a the comeback kind of team, getting things rolling late. So I like this first period under.
All right, like in the first period under 1.5, Alex, with the Colorado-Arizona game. Jimmy, what about you, Colorado-Arizona?
Yeah, you know what, guys? It's not a lot of value. I like Colorado on the side here. You just can't get a lot of value. And even if you look at the 3-way, it's not that great. So I'm going to do another Jimmy puck line and hope for that empty netter at the end. I like the call on the under there, though, as well. So give me 2 plays on this game. Give me the under and give me the puck line.
All right, under the 5.5 for the game, and also Colorado puck line laying the -1.5 goals for Jimmy, plus 145 for that against the Coyotes. -1.5 plus 145 with Colorado on the puck line. Vegas and Anaheim. Vegas -200 road favorites, 5.5 shaded to the under. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the Anaheim overs since they got Zegras in the line. And Zegras hasn't done a lot, but he's opened up more ice for everybody. Wait till he gets scoring now, which he hasn't done yet. But what he's done is he's opened up the ice. People are paying attention to him defensively. You've got to pay mind to him, and it gives other teammates and line mates openings to make plays and score goals. And it's funny. Now they feel a little bit more offensively confident, all these guys with Zegras on the team and on the ice, and now their defensive game has lapsed. And their defensive game now has gone backward a little bit. Anaheim coughing up those 2 leads against Arizona. 5.5 plus money. I know Vegas has been really trending under. I understand that. But a lot of tight, big games, Colorado games, playoff intensity. Now you're taking a step down out of that realm against Anaheim. I think they'll find their offense a little bit more. I also think they could loosen up defensively. You've been really, really ratcheting up the tight checking ways in a playoff type of setting in those multiple games in a row with the Avalanche. Now that you're playing a weaker team, does Vegas, try to maybe get a little loose defensively in their own zone, at least looser defensively? They might. And again, Anaheim is now scoring some more goals. Max Jones is the guy to watch out for. He has really come on big time offensively for the Anaheim Ducks in recent games. I'm going to go with back to the well. Vegas, Anaheim over 5.5. It's about plus 105 in a lot of spots. Good price. Gone over in every game since the Zegras call-up. Stick with it in my mind, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Alex, anything for you with the Golden Knights and the Ducks?
I'm going to look at the Vegas team total over 3.5 here. You said, Anaheim, their main, bread and butter is playing good defense, and that has not been the case right now. Like you said, things are opening up. But I still don't trust them to get a lot of goals. Obviously, you look, they said they were able to, get 3 in the last couple of games against Arizona, but before that, they were held to just 1 goal in the last 2 against Minnesota. Held to 2 goals against San Jose. So, Vegas, we can trust Vegas to still, play a wide open game and shut things down defensively on their own end. So, I wouldn't be shocked to see this one be like maybe a 4-1, 4-2 kind of game. So, I like Vegas to go over their team total.
All right, liking Vegas team total over, Alex, in this game. Vegas and Anaheim. Fleury expected to be, and Fleury's been really good. And obviously, the blue line with Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez leading them there. I mean, obviously, they on their best day, they're very tough to score on this Vegas team. That could be some trouble for Anaheim, but I look at it as if they've had this big series of intense games where they really played well defensively against Colorado. They've been off now, I believe, since Monday. So that's all of a sudden a little break in the schedule. They're out of rhythm a little bit. I just get that sense Vegas could be a little bit defensively not quite as sharp tonight. Maybe a little bit more sloppy play creeps into their game now after having their schedule. They've been playing every other day against Colorado. Now they're off for almost a week. So I think there's some things that could point to Anaheim being able to contribute and find the back of the net tonight. Jimmy, what do you think? Vegas, Anaheim.
See, I'm going the other way, guys, just because of the 2 goalies. I think this is going to be a tight, low-scoring game. Even a type of game where, you could see Anaheim steal it just because of the goaltending they can get, because that's been the case with them. They have stolen games thanks to Gibson. So give me the under 5.5 in this one.
Yeah, Fleury's numbers excellent, 1.55, 942 save percentage. John Gibson, 2.67, 908 save percentage. So good numbers. We got good goalies there. I think one of those games, though, with Arizona and Anaheim went over with Gibson. And was he in net for both of them? I think so. So it's possible. Yeah. So it's definitely possible we could get a squeeze out and over. But, yeah, I mean, with these 2 goalies, when they're on their game, certainly as good as it gets at times this season. Both of them have been that way. Montreal and Winnipeg. Montreal minus 140. Road favorites, total 6 across the board. This is probably a better spot to bet on Montreal because it looks like, and not it looks like, it will be Jake Allen in net. I like this. Bravo, Dominic Ducharme. Bravo. Because this is not a back-to-back here. And this is the first time all season Montreal has started Jake Allen in a non-back-to-back game. And that tells you that maybe with Dominic Ducharme, there's going to be less racetrack for Carey Price. He's in a tough spot here. But he's realized that, hey, What do I do? Do I give Jake Allen a start here tonight and the chance to maybe grab this number one job if he plays well tonight, as he has all season? Or do I put Carey Price back there because he's been this elite goalie for the last decade and show some loyalty to him and risk more poor play and more Dairy Queen softies? Like, that's been the Carey Price mentality the last couple games. There's now 2 games in a row. They've got a chance to wrestle the momentum in both of those games against Ottawa and Winnipeg, and he gives up this Dairy Queen softie at the worst time possible. I mean, goals that can't go in on any goaltender, anybody. Like, I would say if that's Michael Hutchinson, what the hell are you doing, man? You can't give up that goal. It's a terrible goal. When it's Carey Price, it's 10 times you got to say that. You mean, come on, you're Carey Price. What the hell are you doing, man, giving up that goal the way he did against the Nate Thompson goal in the Winnipeg game?
I'm just overthinking. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
That's what he said. That's all I can say. But you know what? It's not a matter of thinking. It's a matter of doing, and you're not doing.
Prima donna.
Yeah, we're not doing right. Well, everybody's been afraid to criticize him, and it's true because, you know, they look at him as this, you know, guy that's above criticism, but hasn't been good enough. Now, is he the only problem? No. The defense has not been good. What's happened to Shea Weber? His game's just gone in the tank again the last few games. What's going on with Jonathan Drouin? Not good enough most games. What's going on with Tatar, who'd been benched? You know, he's had some ups and downs. Even Gallagher, he's working hard, but he's not giving you the offense right now for this Montreal team. Special teams has struggled. It's been everything. So I like the idea of Montreal being a better chance to win with Allen. Allen does give them a better chance to win right now. He has been marvelous. 2.14 goals against, .932 save percentage. All that being said, we still need to see Montreal win a game under this new coach. And what the hell has Winnipeg done to deserve plus 120 home underdog status? My goodness. I mean, this is a team playing great hockey right now.
Like, I mean, how are they underdogs?
Plus 120, and not just underdogs, they're plus 120. Yeah. With the way they've played, they stormed back from that 3-1 deficit to win 6-3 against Montreal on Thursday night. I am not going against Montreal here.
They're trying to lure you in. That's what they're trying to do.
But there is no value, guys, at minus 140. There's definitely, that's not the value I want with Montreal here. So it's a pass for me. And I think if you like value in a money line price, you got to bet Winnipeg. Yeah, that's where the value is.
If you like the Habs, guys, maybe put them in a parlay. You know, where maybe you're not getting screwed on the value as much. You know, it's not going to increase your overall value for that parlay, but at least, I mean, yeah, straight up, it just there's no value there in betting the Habs.
And I'm not the biggest under guy, but you had that wild high-scoring game Thursday. You got Allen in net now, Hellebuck again. Both teams probably saying they tighten it up. I like the under. I would lean under the total in this one. Yeah, Jimmy, go ahead. Montreal.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be my official right there, the under on this game, just because Jake Allen's back in net and Hellebuck and the way Winnipeg plays. And let's face it, if Carey Price isn't letting in those softies, we don't see an over in that game the other night. It just doesn't happen. You know, I mean, the other goalie was doing his job, and it's just they're a mess. And it's hilarious to me, and I love that you're with me on this, the way you keep calling them out, because for them to sit there, I still don't get how Claude Julien had to take the blame for this one. I mean, look at the team I'm covering right now. 13 of 4, they've been outscored in the last 2 games. Absolutely atrocious in their own end. Not getting saves when they need them. Is anyone calling for Bruce Cassidy's job? No. They're using their eyeballs and looking at the games and saying this is on the players, and it is what it is. And there's injuries. It's COVID. It's a mess this season for everybody. To fire a coach is just, I don't get it. So, you know, part of me just hopes that they keep losing just so they get punished for what they did to Julien, because I still think it was a mistake.
Yeah, there we go. So Jimmy liking the under here in this one, under 6, minus 110. And again, I guarantee you, Allen plays well and they win tonight, Montreal. He's back in the next game. Ducharme's basically said that with giving him this start. You would think that. I would hope. I would think. You don't give Allen this start if you're not going to give him the runway to run with it if he wins tonight. Simple as that. You're just doing yourself a disservice to this entire hockey team if you stick Price back in there if Allen gets you a win tonight.
You know, one more thing I want to say, too, about Price there, too, you know, and he's talking about I don't have much to say. No, you need to say a lot. You need to own up. You're supposed to be the leader on this club right now. You're the goalie. You're the superstar. You need to speak. You need to analyze what's going on. I mean, I see Brandon Carlo last night after that game. He's only 24 years old, and he's saying enough of this shit. Like, this stops here. This is not our team, and we're not going to let this continue. That's what Price needs to be saying right now. And that, if I'm a Habs fan, or I'm even Price's teammate right now, I'm a little scared with the way he's not just the way he's playing, but the way he's speaking, or lack thereof.
Yeah, there's no question. They have definitely. He looks like he's in a fog.
Yeah,
Carey
Ever
Price.
seen him? We're going to have him work with the goalie coach. Well, why wasn't he working with the goalie coach when you had a whole week off?
Yeah, almost like there's something maybe up.
What the heck was that?
Yeah, almost like there's some distraction off the ice that he's dealing with. I don't know. We don't know that, but just a thought. Alex, what do you think here? Montreal, Winnipeg.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things going wrong with the Habs right now. Like I said, the Julian firing was just pretty much uncalled for. He said, and I get the idea of wanting to shake things up, but that wasn't the way they should have gone about it. But with that being said, Winnipeg, they looked like crap in the first period of that game. They ended up bouncing back. Like you said, you got Carey Price letting in goals, softer than a half-cooked biscuit. And, basically, like you said, if that was Jake Allen in that, probably a good chance that Montreal could have won that game because he's been playing very well. And that's the way I'm looking at here. I took Montreal in regulation plus $1.20. Winnipeg's not a team that I can trust to really string together a lot of great offensive performances night after night. Obviously, Hellebuck gives them a chance, to possibly steal a game. But like I said, I think Allen's in good form. And I think that, like I said, this is his time to really kind of steal the spotlight and get that number one spot. And if he can step up big here, that should give some momentum to the rest of the players in this club. Like I said, Carey Price isn't pulling his weight right now. So it's going to be up to Jake Allen, to get this momentum started up again. And maybe that can send the charge into that Habs locker room.
Yeah, definitely. Should be interesting to see how this one goes again tonight. Montreal, just that team. We can't take our eyes off them right now with everything that's going on. We've got St. Louis.
Train wreck.
Yeah. People love train wrecks. People love to see teams that are just in disarray and what's going to happen next. It's like a soap opera. That's kind of what's happening here with Montreal. San Jose, St. Louis to wrap it up. Final game. We've gotten through all 14 games. Unbelievable, but this is the final one. Blues and Sharks in the tank. St. Louis minus 160 road favorites, 5.5 shaded to the over in this one. I'm on the over here, 5.5 minus 120. I'm always interested with San Jose. Terrible defensive team, weak goaltending, and weak defensively now are St. Louis. They already had Parayko out, and now Carl Gunnarsson out for the season. With an injury sustained the other night. He's one of their best shutdown defensemen. Forget about the other side of the puck in terms of being tight, sound, good, strong in your own zone, good positioning, being able to make good plays in your own zone defensively. Carl Gunnarsson is as good as it gets on the Blues, and now without him, that is a huge hole that has to be filled on this St. Louis blue line. I think it makes them weaker in terms of preventing goals. That makes them weaker defensively, and that could show up tonight and moving forward. So, and St. Louis, look, I know offensively, 1 goal against the LA Kings in the 2 games against LA, not good, but hey, San Jose can be the team that cures what ails this Blues offense, I think, a little bit tonight in this one. The last game with these two teams went over the total in St. Louis. I think we get more of the same here. I like over 5.5 minus 120. Alex, what about you here? St. Louis, San Jose.
Yeah, I like this over as well. And I might even, I'll probably play a half unit on it beforehand and then look to see this game. If it starts off kind of slow, get even a better price in game. Like I said, the history between these two teams is that when it goes over, it usually tends to be scoring more in the second and third period. So I think live might be a better opportunity to jump in and cash this. But like I said, these two teams are a mess defensively, and they're going in downhill, but for different reasons. Obviously, San Jose is not that good of a team, but St. Louis is, like I said, having injury issues and just can't seem to get out of their own way at times. So I definitely think we see quite a few goals here scored. So I like the over.
All right, Alex liking Blues Sharks over 5.5 as well. Jimmy, what do you like here in this game?
Same thing, guys. I like the over here. And if I was going to take the side, I might actually lean towards San Jose. And Alex just mentioned it. St. Louis is just not – I mean, it's ironic. We're just talking about Jake Allen in Montreal and how their team's heading in the wrong direction. Well, his former team, quietly, I don't think it's getting enough attention right now. They're a mess. And it's something to keep an eye on going forward here because – they're going to keep being favorites just because of who they are and their reputation, I think, for a bit here, unless it gets real bad. So keep an eye on that. And, maybe going forward, pick your spots and take a dog against them because I think it can be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, San Jose is not the dog I want to take, but your point's a good one, Jimmy. moving forward, definitely. This is a vulnerable Blues team right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely it is. Not playing great, struggling, I think, a little bit to adjust to all the injuries. It's not just on defense. They've got Schwartz and they've got Bozak and they've got Tarasenko. Barbashev is out. Like I say, close shave Barb.
Bennington's been a mess.
Yeah, exactly. It has been an issue. All the injuries here for this St. Louis Blues team, and I mean it's affecting them. I mean you lose both games to the LA Kings at home. I know LA's been playing good hockey until last night, but boy, that's just not something you expect to see from the St. Louis Blues team. So there's no doubt this is definitely a Blues team that's struggling, not playing well, injuries galore. Not a team I'm looking to lay minus 160 with. Honestly, I thought about taking San Jose here, and I haven't bet San Jose.
I know you're not. You've got a brain, unlike me. But I mean, like, I think it's just a thing where, like, maybe San Jose isn't the team there, but I mean, look at they're going to continue to be like 140, minus 140, minus 150, minus 160, minus 170. It doesn't seem like they're catching on right now that this is not that great a team as advertised. Maybe they'll get it together as it goes on here, but when you can, if you get a nice underdog, I don't know, like say in Arizona or somebody, we saw what they did, right? That's a good example of picking a dog against St. Louis and getting some really good value.
Yeah, absolutely right. So like I say, I would lean in San Jose. I think St. Louis is vulnerable as big chalk right now, but I don't like San Jose enough to take them. But I am on the over here for sure, 5.5 in this one, the Blues and the Sharks. And that is it. That is every game, guys. 14 games. We have gone through each and every one here.
Not bad.
On the NHL card in just a little under an hour. So that's because we want to keep the show close to an hour on most days. A great job by everybody. Great discussion, great analysis on this massive Saturday NHL card. We'll get to best bets in just a second to wrap up the show. But before we do, a reminder, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account there, use the promo code THPN, which of course stands for the Hockey Podcast Network. And when you do that, in your account, you will get bet bonuses. You'll get, lots of exclusive insider deals, the ability to get incentives, bonuses, all of that available to you. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app to sign up for an account and do so by using the promo code THPN on sign up and take advantage of all of those deals and bonuses you'll get by using the DraftKings Sportsbook app. All right. Best bet time for this Saturday NHL card. Busy card, big card, lots to choose from. Not always the easiest cards to choose a best bet from, but you got to do it. Alex, what have you zoned in on here for a best bet on this Saturday?
We're going to go with LA and Minnesota first period over 1.5. You can find it, like you said, laying $1.05 or even money if you shop around. He said Minnesota 7-3 the last 10 of the first period over. I think we're going to see more energy from this LA team after that, loss they had. Like I said, they pretty much got crushed in the first 10 minutes of that game, and that was about it. Minnesota's still playing well. One thing that I want to note, too, and mention in the chat room, today is Hockey Day in Minnesota. This is historically, obviously, usually when there's crowds, it's a big day. There's games going on all over the state. But the Wild have always played well during this event. Usually have things in the arena, but they're 11-2-1 on a Hockey Day in Minnesota historically. So, like I said, if this is a back and forth game, say 1-1, I may even look to take a shot with the Wild in-game money line. You probably get a better price, but I like that first period over 1.5 is my best bet.
All right, there we go. Over 1.5 first period for LA, Minnesota. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. By the way, we're going to mention this too. Great point, because Alex mentioned it in our YouTube chat. We do have our Patreon page, patreon.com/Ice Guys. It is a $10 per month subscription. Our daily card of wagers that we recommend on this show. Once in a while, there'll be maybe one or two. Personally, I've added after the show that I don't decide on until after the show. But if there are additions, I will post those as well. But anyway, the daily card that we give out on this show, the recommended plays, are posted on the Patreon page at patreon.com/Ice Guys. It's $10 per month for that. We post a lot of exclusive content there on the page as well. Alex B. Smith with his goaltending charts and goaltending ratings. Those are always good. I have a little bit of an announcement to make with the Patreon page, because I have been writing for about the last year or so for linemovement.com, and they are moving in a different direction. They are not doing written content anymore on that website. So I plan now, I won't be writing the NHL articles for them anymore after this month, but I will be doing those for our Patreon members on the Ice Guys page, patreon.com/Ice Guys. They're just game previews. You'll get some nice stats, some good, written reasoning and analysis behind some of my bets. That will be on the Patreon page moving forward, exclusively on that page for that $10 per month. So again, lots of stuff available there. And hey, if you don't want to be a member of the Patreon page, no problem. Just keep on watching our shows free, live, daily, and also downloading the audio podcast. No problem at all, whatever you decide to do. But we do want to mention the Patreon page for those that are currently a part of it. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. That is the URL for our Ice Guys Patreon page. Jimmy, where are you going for best bet?
I'm going to go with that Montreal Winnipeg under, guys. I like that. I like it a lot. I think Jake Allen does come in. I think he does his job. I'm not sure Montreal wins, but I think he's not letting in the softies to carry prices. So I like the under in that game.
Now I got to give you an opportunity to say for sure that's your bet, because I remember earlier you said Carolina, Florida over. You really
I
like
know, but I switched. Thank you though for giving me that. Yep, don't worry, I know.
There you go. All right, good stuff. No, I know you like that Montreal. That Montreal Winnipeg under makes sense. If I was going to bet an under on this card, it would be that one, because you're going to have Allen in net. You had a wild shoot, high scoring game the last one. Allen and Hellebuck, two good goalies. Probably a chance to get that one lower scoring. So it is official. We'll make it official. Final answer. Who wants to be a millionaire style? That Jimmy Murphy likes. Montreal Winnipeg under 6 -110 is his best bet. Mine is going to be the very last game we talked about on this card. St. Louis, San Jose over 5.5 -120. Look, I think the Gunnarsson absence is big, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this team running around a little bit out of position. And I know they bottled up LA, but San Jose offensively has been able to put the puck in. It's defensively at the other end that San Jose's had their issues. So I think both of the teams in that game get their goals, and it gets over the number. Blues, Sharks, over 5.5 -120. My best bet for this Saturday, February 27th NHL card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Great viewership for a Saturday. Are you kidding me? Great numbers on the live YouTube recording. And a reminder, 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern live, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern live with the Ice Guys. And if you miss any of the shows live, don't fret, don't panic, don't be a Montreal Canadiens person. Let's I can't help it. I just can't help myself. But yeah, don't fret, don't panic. You can download the audio podcast version of the show daily if you miss it live, courtesy of the Hockey Podcast Network. Great stuff, guys. Great show. For Alex B. Smith, for Jimmy Murphy, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Sunday for another edition of the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.